Good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Financial Fraud Fridays with Karina and I. I am Nike Togba, owner and founder of Togba and Associates, a tax and advisory firm in the Atlanta, Georgia area. We focus on assisting entrepreneurs and professionals using a personalized approach. We take the stress out of dealing with the IRS. If you would like to work with us, I encourage you to visit our website at togbaandassociates.com and schedule a consultation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karina O'Connor. I am the owner and CEO of Cake with a K Financial. So we help our solopreneurs resolve their IRS issues so that they can run their business with confidence. So this includes services like, back taxes, which is you haven't filed your taxes for the last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 years, or if you have a debt that you cannot fully pay with the IRS or your state, this is where we help you. So please book the link in the bio to get a further call and discovery call with us so we can help you. We're a virtual firm out in South Florida, but we can help nationwide. So I'm going to go ahead with the disclaimer and then bounce it back over
Oh,
to Nikki.
yes. Thank you
So
for
this
that. I
disclaimer,
always
disclaimer,
forget the
disclaimer.
disclaimer.
Although we are professionals, we are not your professional, at least not yet. Book the link in the bio. But we are not your professional. So everything that we say is opinion based. They are typically based in facts based on articles that we have read. However, understand that this is not tax advice to you. Everything is different. And even though it may sound similar to your scenario, it probably is not. So please get a consultation with us so that we can know everything is opinion based and not a reflection of anyone or anything other than our words. That's it, Nikkei.
All right, Karina, thank you for the very thorough disclaimer. Because yeah, I was disclaimer. So you guys, we was talking to Karina and decided that as we're doing this, we should send you guys or give you guys at least some updates that we have either read about or heard about in our studies and in our, we get little emails here and there from the IRS. And so, here's an update for you guys, those of you who are interested in the no tax on car loan interest. Is that what he's calling it? We're
Something
calling
like
it
that.
now. It's
Yeah.
something like, yeah. So I don't have the exact name down, but no tax on those car loans that where the final assembly for the car is the United States of America. Okay. So apparently, the IRS has they have a preliminary form now that you should receive from your lender. It's called IRS Form 1098-VLI. It is the vehicle loan interest statement. So if you are someone who's purchased this, a final assembly vehicle for personal use, okay, between the years of 2025 through 2028, you're able to take a maximum $10,000 deduction within a year. And so this form is out now. They're required to let you know and let the IRS know when you've paid them $600 or more in interest on that loan in relation to that car. Again, the deduction's $10,000 for those of you who are interested, and you can take the deduction whether or not you file using the standard deduction or itemized deduction. So either way, you get access to this deduction. The other thing is if you are going to buy a vehicle, the dealership should have on the sticker, that thing that's on the car window, whether or not the vehicle it has the final assembly or it is, part of this, program or qualifies for you to get the deduction. It should say final assembly in the United States. So there's a bit of an update for you guys, especially those of you who are considering buying a vehicle. Remember, the vehicle has to be, it's personal use vehicles only, so it can't be business related. So keep that in mind. Okay. That's a little
Thank you,
tip
Nikkei.
update.
I think that is a great update, especially for those who are in the market to buy a vehicle. That could be a great thing to use for your taxes these next upcoming years. So for me, I guess my tax update is the 1099K form. Basically a 1099K, because a lot of you guys may not even know what that is. It
Yeah.
is different from a 1099 NEC, which is non-employee compensation. The K is the credit card payments that you receive. So this will include like large corporations like Airbnb, Square, Cash App, which is under Square, Venmo, and things of that nature. If you're getting paid.
Hmm.
So what's happening is that, or at least before, the law was $20,000, like that the those large companies have to report to the IRS that you got credit card payments. It was $20,000 and 200, at least 200 transactions. Then they will do a 1099K form out to you as well as to the IRS to let them know, hey, this person received at least um, this amount of credit card payments,
Hmm.
right? Um, and then they changed it around, I think it was last year or the year before,
Oh
like,
yeah.
they changed it to 5,000. And then now we're changing it back to 20,000 and
Can't be.
200 transactions. I
Yeah.
believe it was probably a lot of paperwork for the larger corporations and things of that nature. Understand that any income that you receive is still taxable, whether or not you get a 1099 K, NEC, et cetera, et cetera. But the reporting is now only $20,000 and 200 transactions. So if you don't get a 1099K, and it was getting a little confusing, especially with the Cash App payments and the Venmo payments, because people also use those for personally. The reason why the IRS wanted these, especially the lower threshold, is that a lot of people are doing business via Cash App and Venmo now
Hmm.
and they wanted to catch that money. But
Yeah.
like I said, I believe because of paperwork and things of that nature, they brought it back up to 20,000 and 200 transactions, and then doing the calculation of trying to figure out what's personal versus what's business and all the things. So,
Oh,
long
that,
story short,
yeah.
$20,000. The reporting requirement is $20,000 and 200 transactions for those large payments of credit card payments for them sent to you. So that
Okay.
is my update.
That's
How
your
about you?
okay. So yeah, I guess you're right with the reporting requirements that those companies were probably like, okay, hold on. We'll
Yeah, because
be
it's like 5,000,
issuing
600. Right.
oh so yeah, because that's a low threshold.
It's a very low threshold for
Yeah.
credit cards. And like I said, it's credit card, they call it credit card payments, but like basically they were
Just
including Venmo and Cash App and all of those things because they're um kind of debit-ish.
gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, you guys, those are our updates. Hopefully, you learned something new. Okay. You learned
Yeah.
something new. So it is Financial Fraud Friday. So we're going to tip into that portion of it, you guys. Today, we are talking about a Florida tip. Check a mark off for Florida, another Florida case. We're talking about a woman out of Florida. She's wanted by the FBI for a $34 million COVID-19 relief fund, scheme or fraud. Miss Elaine, I do not want to butcher her last name, Elaine Escoe.
Go.
We pulled this story from the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of Florida site. Apparently, Miss Escoe, I'm going to provide some preliminary information. Miss Escoe from May 2020 through November of 2021, and I and some other defendants conspired to submit more than 90 false and fraudulent applications for funds under the PPP, the EIDL, Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and Shuttered Venue Operations Grant Fund. So basically, in total, that 34 million came from what, over 90 fraudulent applications, Karina? And
Yep.
so ultimately, Miss Esco was what, indicted, right?
United. Yep.
Asked to appear in court, and She was
Haven't
last
seen her since.
seen.
Haven't
She was
seen her.
last seen June 3rd, 2025.
Yep,
Miss
haven't seen her
Escoe is on the run.
since.
On up out of there.
And I don't think she's ever coming back. Like, like it just makes no sense. But let's talk about,
Do you
oh,
think
go
they're
ahead.
going to
Like
because
extradite
you
her?
say yeah, do you think they're gonna even take the time to go looking for her?
What is a great question.
You
That
know,
is a great question because they could. Because this is not chump change. This is 34 million.
right?
So they could actually, because Jamaica is a extraditable. That's not a
Oh
word.
yeah, and we didn't. Yeah,
Country.
she's got ties to. She's born in Jamaica,
I think she was
right?
born in Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken. So
Right?
more than likely they think that she has escaped there.
Yeah,
So they could that Jamaica is an extraditable uh,
country, right? So
country. So they could. Will they do the resources to do so? I don't know.
that's my question. Will they spend is it worth
Yeah,
it?
the
Would it
resources.
be
I
worth it
don't
to
know.
them, or are they just gonna, or they could just be like, FYI, lovely people of Jamaica, we've got a reward for, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know how
I don't think
this
so.
works, you
It's like
know.
a really good question. I don't know if that's what they would be doing because I think she was facing there was like one like up to 20 years per fraudulent account or something like that. 10 years for like wire fraud and up to 20 years for the fraud charges. Yes, okay. So up to 20 years in prison on each wire fraud charge and up to 10 years in prison for each money laundering charge.
That's 90 applications. So are we saying up to 20 years
Up
per
to
application?
for each wire fraud. So I
Now we see why she
mean,
ran, right?
and then up to 10 years for, for each money laundering charge,
Yeah.
between her and her six offendants. So, defendant, sorry, the crew that was with her. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of up to years. That's a lot of up to years.
Th- Then you can see why I mean,
Yeah,
20 years by itself would have had
it's a lot.
me
But
shook it.
per, and she got indicted, meaning that they said, yeah, she did it. Like it's not alleged, you know. It is you were indicted. Wait, indicted?
And 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 so there's something about federal crimes if you are indicted and go to, there's like is I'm not familiar, I'm not a lawyer. I have absolutely no idea, but you have to serve it or you don't get there's some caveat to federal.
Indicted is because I was like, let me make sure I'm not lying. Like
Okay.
indicted is formally accused and charged of.
Ah,
So I was like, yeah, that means she did it. It's not like, oh, it's alleged. Like
okay,
it's
so she was okay, so it's not alleged. They okay.
they said that
Well, she
she
was convicted because they
they
were ready to put her in jail. Was the
Yeah, I
sentencing that
think maybe this
she
was going
skipped
to be
out
the
on.
sentencing. The June whatever was going to be the sentencing that she skipped out on.
Yeah, because an arrest warrant was issued on May 22nd.
Hmm.
She was notified on June 5th of a court appearance, and then she was last seen on June 3rd.
Well, yeah.
So maybe she was,
She was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to jail."
imagine you're sitting there thinking,
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to jail. But like the conversation that me and Nikkei were having in the background was were these real companies? So these 90 applications that she
yeah,
did between her and her crew, were these real EINs, real company names, real businesses, all the things because there's a lot there. Like, because the way they were saying it was that she did all these applications, falsified these documents and bank statements, and then she they would send the payments to their businesses that they controlled, withdrew large sums of cash, used blank signed checks to conceal the origin and nature of these proceeds. But I'm betting to think, because out of six people, right, that they were doing it with, I'm sure six people didn't have 90 businesses. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So
So
maybe,
whose businesses were they? You get what
yeah,
I'm
because
saying?
that information isn't there either. You know,
Yeah, whose
are these
businesses were they?
fictitious
Yeah, did
companies
they
that
just
they
make up
created?
these companies? Maybe, that could
That's
work.
possible, yeah,
That's
because
possible.
yeah, that was happening a
That's
lot.
possible.
People were like, "What? They're giving away money? I own a
Like,
business."
and I think what's really sad is that one of the people were saying how like so many, because after a while like funds ran out. People who were still applying or whatever, they couldn't get the money because they didn't have their documents in order. They weren't fast enough
Oh
because it already
yeah,
depleted. So 34 million
that's a
could
lot.
have went to businesses that really needed it,
That
and they
honestly
didn't.
needed. Yeah.
It went to their fake businesses and went to fund their lifestyles basically.
You
That's
know what? And this goes to the psychology of someone who for me, I'm so curious about the psychology of someone who would do this. And Karina and I were talking, and I said, there's a couple of things here.
Mhm.
One, these are the dumbest, smart, or smartest dumb. I don't know which way to go with this. People that I know, and I don't want to say that they're, but all this, I don't want to say that, I'm not saying they're dumb, but some of the, like the blank checks, right? That's a red flag. How are you so smart, or you were so cunning and clever enough to know what to do to file the paperwork and to get access to these funds, but not clever, or
Drop the ball
you couldn't
on.
catch on to the fact that writing blank checks would be a red flag that could trigger someone wanting to know what's happening here, what
Mm,
is happening here. Um, so that's one thing. And then the other, you know, the other, uh, the other part of it is just psychologically. I mean, these are some intelligent people.
yeah, you have to be in order to pull this type of stuff off. It's just a matter of you're using your intelligence in the wrong areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the
Yeah,
wrong
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
in the
get.
wrong areas because they over here
Yeah.
frauding. But like they have a level they do have a level of intellect because they knew enough to make sure that the documents had a certain amount of employee accounts, certain amount of payroll expenses to make sure that they applied for whichever, because they applied to multiple. It wasn't just
Yeah,
one
they
co-sign.
did.
PPP, the EIDL, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. So they had to do all this information just to falsify and make sure that they were going to be able to get the funds. Falsified, they said bank accounts, bank statements they falsified, as well as tax documents. So bank statements,
Yeah.
like fabricating.
And
And
I think that was, I think, well, the other point that I wanted to make was you had companies that legitimately, restaurant owners, things like that, that legitimately
needed
needed the
these funds.
funds. And you know, they got access to the information. It's like, I don't know how they get, it's like, are they on it's like, as soon as they hear something that's like, oh,
Money,
that looks like something we could get access to,
the wheels start turning.
the wheels start turning, the researching starts happening, and they get to work. Whereas, so it says something about tenacity and
That's what they do.
moving when, you know what I mean? I mean, there's something to learn here, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
of
say that,
course.
but there's something to learn here, about striking when the iron's hot, because there were a
Mhm.
lot of businesses that came after the fact, um, and either had to wait because the moratorium came into effect. So even
Mm-hmm.
though they
Legitimate.
completed applications for legitimate requests, had to wait
Mm-hmm.
because the IRS had caught on and decided, okay, we're going to put a stop to issuing funds so we can adequately vet these applications. So they stopped.
Yeah.
But these businesses still needed the funds,
Of
but
course.
Miss Esco was able to get access to
34.
34 million. That's a lot.
That is a lot. It's a
That
lot of
is a
money.
lot of money.
And it's within not even a year. Less than a year. Less than a year, right?
Yeah, because you did it from May of 2020 through
Oh, okay.
November
A
of
little bit over a year
2021.
then. Yeah, a
Yeah,
little over a year. So May 20 to November 2020. Okay.
but
Like,
still,
yeah,
34 mil.
34 million in that short of a time frame.
Yeah,
That's crazy to think about. And I think one of the things to learn, right? Because a lot of people were not able to access funds. And we're saying COVID, right? But accessing fund, like in this particular instance, it was COVID. But you never know when your local government, they have grant opportunities and things of that nature,
that's true.
but you have to have your documentation in order and to move quickly because
That's true.
especially with government, funds deplete fast, especially if a
Yeah,
bunch of people are applying.
yeah,
So this is where we as business owners, we have to run our businesses like they are businesses and
yeah.
make sure that we have our bookkeeping up to date. So when they ask for a profit and loss statement or AKA an income statement year to date, we
You're
are
just
able to provide that.
you're just hitting the print button.
Balance sheet
Mm-hmm.
year to date,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to provide that. And they can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, all right, cool. We have this documentation or whatever." Mind you, you might have some need to your local tax receipt and county tax receipt as well. But all of those doc things should be in order. So when the federal government has funds or when your local and county government has funds, you're able to you can be on it.
You're able to strike while the iron's hot. You're able
Right.
to move
You can
to
move
make a
quickly
decision and move
before the
quickly.
scammers start scamming
The
and take all
scammers are always scamming.
the before the
You're trying
before
to go up
the
against scammers.
but yeah, so this
Yeah, I mean, and then there
unfortunate.
was a point, and we're talking about, well, there was a point where the IRS was allowing people to voluntarily disclose that, hey, look, you know,
I messed up.
because the
Yeah,
question that you asked was, well, we were asking, how did they get caught, and where did these 90
yeah.
businesses come from? Did they make them up, or
Were they
did they
legitimate?
defraud actual businesses and convince
Right.
them that we can get you COVID funds?
Right.
Got them some funds and took substantial amounts of money from them, right? So now I'm an individual who I thought that this person was
Legit.
legitimately filing documents on my behalf, right? Then I find out, oh my God, uh, I was not eligible, right? At one
Hmm.
point, the IRS did offer a voluntary disclosure program
Yeah.
which was like a pathway for you to voluntarily say, I think we got these funds and we were not, supposed to get the funds.
Yeah.
Because what they did was they didn't take back all the funds.
Like 90% or something like
They took
that.
back a percentage. So
Yeah.
imagine if you got, okay, you got 100K, you know what I mean? Okay, taking back 90. Well, if you didn't
It's
spend all
still
that,
because like if it's $1 million, you know what I'm saying? And like
that's
it's still,
different.
it's still a good amount of money, and your revenues are nowhere near that.
That's,
You're going to be paying for the rest of your life.
yeah,
Like, you
that's
know,
well, unless your business is popping, that's possible and that's
it is.
okay. But
Yeah,
yeah, and then Karina mentioned bookkeeping and having your bookkeeping up to date so you could strike while the iron is hot. Um, and we go back and forth about this, but another reason to have that bookkeeping is not just so you are
Yes.
able to get loans or respond to grants or respond when there's an opportunity. But I will always say this, bookkeeping is about decision making.
Hmm.
It's not about filing your taxes at the end of the year. It's not about, or not just about.
Only. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will, I'll say that it's not just about filing taxes at the end of the year or applying when a loan is available or grants available and having the documentation ready. It's also there for you to look at, make decisions, forecast, make comparisons, year to year comparisons about your revenue and where you may be spending too much money. So it's an opportunity for you to really analyze data and make decisions. So it's a decision-making tool in addition to, you know, you know, um, having the
Yeah.
information ready to file for loans and things like that.
It is. It is. And then, we're gonna go back, for this COVID situation and her taking all this money and her crew taking all this money. Um, One thing about the IRS, my mentor says, like, they might be slow, but they're not stupid. Like, things don't add up. Like, yeah, you got all this payroll and you said that you paid for 10 employees.
Yeah,
You said you paid them, I don't know, $100,000 each
yeah,
quarter for these
yeah,
10 employees.
yeah.
But then you don't have W-2s that went to Social Security Administration. So now they're like, hey,
So
let's
that
those
could be it.
W-2s.
Because
But
that's the fastest way all I
yeah,
got to
like,
do is check the Social Security Administration. This
where are
business
these
not
employees?
even there. Okay, fine.
Right.
That one.
Because because the
Right.
940s and the 941s, those are the payroll documents that have to be submitted on a quarterly basis,
Yeah,
and one has to be submitted on an annual basis.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those don't have the names and socials of employees, which is why people were doing the fraud. So they would just say, I paid 20 employees some exorbitant amount, and then, you're supposed to actually like pay the taxes as well. Because if you're paying your uh employees over 100 something thousand dollars, it's going to be a very hefty tax bill on a quarterly basis that you have to remit to the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Unemployment
Mm-hmm.
for whatever state you're in has to
Mm.
also be remitted to the IRS, because those you're taking that money from those people and you're supposed to disperse it to the correct places. So people were
Right.
doing that on those forms because you don't have to put a social and a name. But when you do that W-2 and you're supposed to do that payroll payroll is so important.
Yeah.
That W-2 at the end of the year, or if you even have one,
Yeah.
but you told the IRS that you paid over $100,000 to these invisible imaginary employees, they're gonna catch up to you. It may
That
take a little minute, but it's gonna catch up.
and that might be the answer to our question. How did they,
Like how they got,
what was the
yeah,
trigger?
probably.
Nine
It
times
prob
out of ten, that was the trigger. Because that's
Probably.
to me, that's the easiest trigger.
Yeah. And it takes a little while, especially during COVID when everything was slowed up. Oh, okay, cool. Years 2025. This started in May 2021, 5 years later.
Yeah, so she
You think
probably got
that everything is
comfortable.
okay. You think you're fine with the 34 million. You got away. Nope.
Yeah. That takes a lot. Man, there's a level of audacity and boldness
five
in that, isn't
years
there?
later.
34 mil to be like
And there's no statute of limitation for fraud.
to
So
there's a
they're
level
like,
of, or is the word I'm looking for arrogance?
I don't know. But like, I
I
don't know.
think that's a,
I don't know
I'm
what the
just,
number.
I'm baffled by the psychology. Like, what?
I don't think nobody, like, I'm assuming like nobody's thinking like when they're doing something like wrong, and this is a level of extravagance. This isn't just
Yeah.
$100,000 that they're taking from all these funds. They took 34 million.
That's
Like we got
all.
to understand the gravitas of that,
Yeah.
right? So no one is doing a big heist or whatever thing. I'm thinking about like the heist. Like I'm thinking, I watch a lot of like,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
like doing that type of stuff, they don't necessarily think about the worst case scenario of okay, if we get caught, this happens. Or maybe she did. She was like, you know what? After I got indicted, I'm gonna go back to Jamaica. Like, I'm just gonna go to another country or get lost. Because right now she's gone with the wind, apparently. So maybe this was her exit plan and exit strategy for if she did get caught, this is what she would do. I don't know. But 34 million?
Million? Because the fraud triangle says, that people who do things like this, they have a tendency sometimes to rationalize what they're
Mm.
doing. I mean, like, what would the
Wow.
rational, they have a tendency to rationalize it. Well, you know, um, if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it, or
Mm.
I'm helping other people get, you know what I mean? Or
Oh, I get what you're
there's some
saying. It's
sort
like
of,
a Robin
yeah,
Hood
exactly, right. Yeah,
mentality of like,
exactly. Yeah, they'll rationalize it in some way, shape, or form. Um,
but
Maybe
yeah.
it's like and for some, I don't know if I've ever heard this before, but it could be that too. There's an addiction there.
Oh yeah,
An
probably.
addiction to
Like an
that.
adrenaline rush of
Yeah, exactly.
look, look how much money I was able to get within a year.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's been 4 or 5 years and I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get
Yeah.
it.
So
Like
maybe, yeah.
it could be that too. Lots of things and underlying stuff there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really unfortunate once again because 34 million, and this is just one case. There's multiple COVID
That
cases.
is
You get what
so
I'm saying?
true.
So like 34 million times the amount of COVID cases and their issue. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
millions of
Yeah.
dollars were taken from people who legitimately needed it.
Yeah.
Millions. Like, can we like understand that? And then what's crazy about this is that the government, a lot of these things, like the government is not going to be able to get that amount of money in time. Because I'm sure by the time 2025 roll around, that 34 million is probably gone from all six of those people. They're
Yeah.
not going to be able to recoup those funds. Maybe they'll get some of it, but not the full 34. That is crazy. And if they were using legitimate businesses and telling them, hey, you're going to get the money, now
Oh,
that business, and
it's
then
on the
that business
hook.
owner is on the hook.
Yeah.
It's.
And so there's another tip, folks. Vet your professional vet. I mean, you gotta vet these people, which leads me to tell you if you need assistance picking a tax professional, I have a free download on my Instagram profile. I'll actually add the link to YouTube. 6 tips for choosing or finding the right tax professional. It gives you some guidance on things you need to look for, questions you should ask. When deciding who to work with as far as you know uh, managing your business or your personal taxes are concerned. So I'll leave that link in the profile on YouTube. But yeah, you
Yeah,
guys.
just, it's really sad and unfortunate, but that's crazy that she's gone. Like
As of
that she
September the 5th, they
went
still, well, excuse me,
ghost
September the 8th, Miss Esco is still on the run. She's
on the
gone.
run. She's gone.
She in Jamaica on somebody good beach or on a good hill somewhere,
Probably,
chilling.
probably.
So, but yeah, you guys, this is our episode of Financial Fraud Friday. We hope you enjoyed the story and the time. Um, we are here every other Friday. We do this bi-weekly. If you are interested in working with either Karina or myself, you can again email me. I'll let you, give your info, but you can email me at info@topaandassociates.com and schedule a consultation. And I'd love to assist you. Karina, how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, so you book a link in the bio of a discovery call that meets your need. That's
Okay.
it.
So that's it, you guys. We're here, happy to help. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.